Hey y'all, happy Thursday. Hey Camille, how you guys doing on this Revenge of the 5th? Yesterday was May the 4th be with you, and I believe today is Revenge of the 5th for my fellow Star Wars peeps. Hey you guys, good morning, good afternoon. As you can see, I'm in my car today. Today's Coffee with Cade is being brought to you from the parking lot of my job. Hey, Nichelle, I see you. Let me see how to add you. There you go. Let's see, did it add you?
Listen, I'm all big
Yeah.
into the camera. So listen, I was literally going to go into work early, but I was like, Dad, do they do coffee with Kay in the parking lot? So I was like, let me just stay home. I'm gonna go in as soon as I get done. How are you?
Girl, sitting right here in this parking lot, okay?
All right. Well, I don't have any coffee, but I have some pomegranate juice. It's really good.
And I like that it looks like wine because
No,
that's necessary sometimes. Well, you look gorgeous.
no, you look gorgeous too. I love the glow, the bronze glow.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying to do what I can. So I've been so excited about this. I've been like looking forward. This has been my looking forward to all week.
Yes.
I saw you guys looking amazing in New York
Oh,
and
yes.
lighting everything orange for
Listen,
National Fertility Awareness Week last week. And I thought this is going to be so good because you coming off of the high of one of the hugest advocacy moments outside of Advocacy Day, which I'm sure we'll talk about,
yes.
but one of the hugest advocacy moments that the infertility community has been able to have ever. Because that was the first time you guys have lit up. Is that the first time you guys have lit
The
up that party?
very the very first time it was a historical moment, and I'm gonna tell you it was really beautiful. I didn't take off from work, but I had to go back home later that night. When I tell you it took everything for me to hop back on that train, it took everything because I wanted to stay in New York, but it was so nice and it was so beautiful to see men and women and all people from different. I mean, I've met April, Christina, and I
Yeah.
met so many others in the fertility community. So it was beautiful to see everyone coming together, even doctors who never thought that they would be that engaged in reproductive justice. I met a young lady. She was so sweet. We're friends now, so hopefully she'll tune in. Destiny, but yes, and she had her own personal journey. So it was wonderful, wonderful.
I was so proud to see that and to see, with the Broken Brown Egg, my focus is on bringing out the emphasis of the Black experience. So to see so many Black and brown faces
Yes.
represented on such a huge stage in terms of advocacy, I was just my heart.
And
So
you
we just, oh,
and
go
and
ahead, go
and,
ahead.
and I cannot forget our big sis. Can't even say big sis because we're like all in the same age group. So no offense, please don't be offended. But Kelly was there, as you
Showed
saw.
up and
Yeah,
showed out, didn't
yes, she
she?
did. Listen, her
Showed up
orange.
and showed all the way out.
Yes,
Gave them a look,
exactly.
honey. Gave them a full look. She was beat
Yes.
to the ground and everything.
Always, always.
But I know we kind of jumped ahead because we already kind of know each other. But Nichelle, if you could introduce yourself to the people so that they know who you are and all the amazing things that you've been doing in this community already.
So my name is Nichelle Polston. I'm a board member, Resolve board member for about 3 years, almost 3 years. And my personal fertility journey led me to Resolve. I was looking for a group, looking for some people that can help me through this journey. And it's funny, Regina, I came across your website first and the Broken Brown Egg, and then I came across Resolve, and I just got myself really involved, but not how you would think. As I mentioned, I wanted support, but I ended up being a support group leader. And then
Yeah.
from there, I would just participate in a number of events, and then I became a board member. So looking to do more in diversity and inclusion for sure.
Yeah. And once it gets you, you know, there's a part to me when it comes to advocacy. I think I just did a post Saturday about, I think sometimes we think of advocacy as this huge, daunting thing, especially because most of us are trying to figure out what the heck infertility is anyway.
Yeah, it's a
When
disease.
in many, it's a disease. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
disease. And so I feel like we think it's so hard to get into advocacy, but really sometimes it's just talking and being willing to be somebody's listening ear or to tell somebody what your experience has been. And I know you said your personal experience is what led you to advocacy. And I know for me, it was really the same. I wanted to blog, and that turned into advocacy. But what about those who don't feel as comfortable telling their own story? Are there other ways that they can be a support or an advocate in this community?
Yes, but I want to start off by saying this, and I say this a lot, but I say it on purpose and for a reason, that many of us are sitting on different stories, especially in this community. And I often share with people that your story is someone's survival guide.
Yeah.
So your story matters. Your story matters. And it's important for you to share it. Now, if you're not comfortable sharing, you can be a support by just joining an organization, the Broken Brown Egg, Resolve, the Cade Foundation, and help to educate women and men, help to raise awareness, volunteer, support financially, because none of these organizations can do what they do with empty pockets. And that's how you can help. But just know that you matter.
Yeah. Yeah. Your voice means something.
Yes,
Even if you think, you know, nobody's had to deal with it. My stuff is so crazy. You'll be surprised. Somebody else would be like, girl, my stuff is crazy too. Or, bro, I
exactly.
can't tell you what me and my partner had to deal with. Like, you have no idea how much of a connection. And I love that about it being somebody else's survival guide. Because
Yes.
that's true. That's really true. You feel like, I'm never going to get out of this thing.
Mm-mm.
And so being able to tell your story and share, even if you resolve to, you know, be done with treatment or anything, somebody needs to hear that too.
Yes.
And so speaking of Resolve, the National Infertility Association, for those who aren't familiar, um, what are some of the things that Resolve does that people may not realize that it does for this community?
So often we think that we cannot reach out to our legislators, and Resolve is very active politically, right? Helping many of us who are on this line or who will watch to understand that we can reach out to our legislators and get different states to pass pieces of legislation to help fund some treatments and to support us, because cost is a huge barrier in this community, whether many of us want to admit that or not. In Delaware, 2018, a bill was passed to help couples expand their families. And the state absorbs much of the cost for treatments, IVF, and a few other things. But this, in particularly Delaware, what I love is that the bill was just a two-part bill. Women who may have been diagnosed with cancer could also preserve their eggs. And so you may be in a state that does not have insurance that covers your treatment, but you can advocate for that. So reach out to Resolve. Resolve is really big on that. It's also big with patient support. So there are so many groups you may not be aware of. And you may be the one to lead some of those advocacy groups, those patient groups, to encourage and empower women, and just be there to maybe even hug them on their journey, wipe a tear. I just, but and again, I often try not to say women, but it's men too. So I remember meeting a man in one of the support groups and says, I'm here because I want to learn how I can support my wife.
Yeah.
And so I don't know how to support, and she's crying, and I don't know if I'm saying the right things. And so we coached, him through some things. But Resolve is a organization that many people should know about in terms of advocacy work, and they can also get involved by helping their state change their laws so that we are supported always in this group.
Yeah. And I think a lot of times when people see Resolve, they think of it as, since it's the National Fertility Association, they think, I don't know where I fit. But what you just said, Nichelle, about participating in like the advocacy day that Resolve hosts, that gives you a chance to speak directly to your legislators. That
Yes.
what Resolve does is create a bridge so that you get that access point that you thought was unattainable. So it's almost like that's the ladder that helps us get to where we need to go. So I know it sounds huge, but
Yeah,
your voice means something, and they
it
are
does.
able to help propel your voice into action. Hey, Calais, I see you in there.
Yes,
Um,
I was on a call last night, and sometimes we can get nervous, right, when it comes time to share our stories. And that was the number one question. It's unfortunate, but the deadline has passed to register for Advocacy Day, May 18th. But you can still be
I'll
tuned
be
in.
there
Yes, thank
in my
you.
orange.
Yes, you can be there, and
Put
I'm
my day
happy.
in at work yesterday. I already told them, hey,
Yeah.
not gonna see y'all on the 18th. I'm busy.
Yes, exactly. So, but no, unfortunately, the time has passed. No one else could register, but you can still raise awareness. You can still call and write your legislator, and make sure you sign up for next year. But no, I want people to know that their voice is something that truly matters. Never
Yeah.
feel as if, even if you stumble, we stumble, we cry mid sentence, but that means
Look,
it's real.
listen. And
Yes.
sometimes I will say that's the most profound advocacy is when it is just genuinely you telling in all of the rawness what the feeling is. I've been so surprised to find out how many legislators, doctors, how many of them don't fully understand and grasp the patient experience. And so
Mm-hmm.
you sharing that experience, you're changing the world for somebody else who's the next person to come in contact with that doctor or that legislator. The next time they see a piece of a bill or something that comes across their desk, they'll remember you. They'll remember your story. So I think that's amazing that Resolve helps us do that.
And I think people really, even to this day, don't understand how many people are affected by this, right? Because in the last two advocacy events that I attended, the folks would say, I know someone. You're like, you do? So then why aren't you doing anything to push this legislation? But they didn't think it was just something that affected such a large group
Mm-hmm.
of men and women. No, it does. And so it's just important for us to make sure we drive home the point that it's a disease, 1 in 8 suffers, right? And, that it doesn't discriminate. I will say this: when I first joined Resolve, I was like, oh, wow, it's not as colorful and diverse as I would like it to be. So if infertility doesn't discriminate, then where are our faces? And so this is why, Regina, you're so funny. But I just felt the need to definitely join that group so that women can, just see me if I have to be the poster child. And trust me, no one wants to be the
Come on
poster
here.
child. No one
Come on
wants
here.
to be, but if I have to, I will. And one thing I can say, no regrets. No
Yeah.
regrets. Hmm.
And I love that look, call a thing a thing. Let's call a thing a thing. And so often when we don't see, if there's that saying, if you can see it, you can be it. And when we don't see ourselves as a part of the conversation, we once again assume it doesn't apply to us, or we're the anomaly. There's something super wrong with me because clearly there's nobody that looks like me. So there must not, I must be really in trouble. And so I said the same thing about, having the broken brown egg and everything and being the one to go, you know what, well, if ain't nobody else gonna say it,
I'ma say it.
I'm gonna say it, even if I'm
Yes.
crying the whole time,
Yes.
which usually I am. But I think it's so important, like you said, for people to be able to see someone that looks like them as a part of the decision-making team that helps to advocate for the rest of us on such a
Yes.
large scale. It is such a huge thing that you're doing, and I hope you know how much we appreciate you and appreciate what you're doing with Resolve and how that is changing the face of infertility coverage, infertility awareness,
Yes.
and reproductive justice throughout our country.
Ultimately,
And
yeah.
other countries look at Resolve as a resource and how you all do what you do. So I applaud everything that you guys do. You know, Camille and I know Barb, we go way back, so we appreciate everything that you guys do.
Yeah. No,
For
Rebecca. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
I will
that's my girl.
say, I know. I will say this though. It's funny because I remember the day that I almost said no to Resolve. They were shooting a video, and it was one of their big videos where you sit at the table and you talk about infertility. And they said, Nichelle, we need someone of not necessarily color, but I can't remember what they said. We want it to be as diverse as possible. And she says, would you be involved? And honestly, the first thing that came to mind was no. Absolutely not. Why would I want to be a part? No. But I
Tell the
thought
truth and
about
shame the
it.
devil.
Yeah, but I really thought about it and I said, no, you cannot. Because then if you say no, you can't complain that there's no representation. So your behind is going to do it. And so I did.
And that's it. That's all. And I appreciate you saying that because outside of not feeling like advocacy work is accessible, there is also that feeling of, well, I don't want to be the poster child for this.
No.
I hate that I'm even dealing with this. I don't want to have to, but there is that feeling of, then I'm turning down the opportunity to create the change that I said that I wanted to see.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes you got to do it scared.
Yes.
Sometimes you have to do it scared, do it uncomfortable, find you a buddy to be uncomfortable with.
Yeah. I said, yes, yes. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Yeah. Yeah. See,
And walk through it.
yeah, and
Walk
walk
through
through
however
it.
you
Yeah.
can.
And I can tell you, no matter how often you may see me smile during Advocacy Day or any type of IG live, there's days where I fight. I was on a call with Resolve last night and I fought tears the entire hour. The entire hour trying
Well,
to
it
talk through that. You ever get choked up where you're like, you just pretend that it's something in your throat, like 1 second, but you really
speak on
but
speak on
yes.
it.
So even if advocacy work brings you to tears and you find yourself fighting through those talks, still do it.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what someone may need.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times when we're struggling with things and we feel emotion, especially women, um, we feel like that's a symbol or a sign of weakness.
Yeah.
I
And it's
should
not.
be able to get through this. I should be able to do this. I shouldn't be so upset. I shouldn't. Stop shooting on yourself. You
Mm-hmm.
can't do that. It will break you.
Mm.
You're allowed to have feelings about this. This is a very emotional journey. Infertility attacks your entire sense of self.
It
And
does.
so if you have feelings, that's an indication of your humanity and you're allowed to have it. So even listen to what the good sis just said, even on the call to handle the business, the
Mm-hmm.
tears may still come, but do it scared. Do it with those feelings, because somebody needs to know that that's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of your humanity. It's a sign of just how real this thing is, how much it impacts our everyday life, and how it affects us. I also see Reverend Stacy in there. Oh, it's the whole squad here today. I just love you all. I really do. I want to say this too, because you and I are on here and we see the sisters in the chat and everything. And I think that that's another huge part of advocacy, is building your own team of people, because there are going to be times where you just don't have it, and you need to lean on somebody else. And it goes up and down, where some days you like, I'm knocking everything down. Let's go. We taking it. And some days it's like, I might get in my closet and sit on the floor for a couple of hours and y'all can find me.
Yeah. You need
Yeah.
that, and you need that good squad. You need that good group of sisters to also be able to say, no, she needs to be here right now. No, do not invade her personal space. Or
Yes.
to set someone straight, to be honest, because people have said some nasty things and we hear it all the time. And I have friends say, no, she doesn't. Not now. She will have kids. Sorry, my earpiece just fell out. But listen, I'm doing something that this is funny. Trying to pick it up with my toes. Let me try with my
I do
fingers.
that.
Yeah, where you
Girl,
just
I do that. Jabari be like, how can you do that? I'd be like, I can multitask. That's
exactly.
that.
But yes, it's important to have that sisterhood, and I will say, my sisters, that include all of you, keep me going, and I need it, and I welcome it. I've embraced it. I have a friend who said to me many, many moons ago, because I was looking at the negative, and it's all about how you interpret and how you process things, right? And she helped me through some things, even on Mother's Day, which is fast approaching, right? My husband said, "What is your deal today?" And it hit me. I was like, "Oh, I'm in a bit of a bad mood because Mother's Day is this weekend." But I quickly thought of a comment that a friend said, and she says, "Nichelle, you are a mother. Never forget that. You are a mother. You
Yeah.
mother children who may not receive the love and care at home. And so on Mother's Day, don't shy away. Be present and
Yes.
celebrate your own." So I'm trying to be present.
Yeah. Mothering is nurturing.
Yes.
And I can attest to your nurturing spirit. And I can attest to just you taking up the mantle for us, by being a board member of Resolve. That was mothering. That was nurturing for us. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you mentioned Mother's Day weekend, because that too is another form of, if you're up to it, advocacy. Because on one side, you can say, I'm not doing all that stuff. And that's advocacy. That's saying this day is not easy for everyone. And therefore,
Mm-hmm.
I remove myself from the situations that are uncomfortable for me. And that sparks it in somebody's mind that, I hadn't thought about the fact that Mother's Day isn't easy for everyone. So I know what I'm doing this weekend is,
Mm-hmm.
I do Mosaic, which is an annual wine sip that we do over at the Broken Brown Egg. It's a private Zoom where you could come and vent, you can come and rant, you can come and cry, you can come and pray, whatever you want to do. We do that. We have a good time. We drink some wine or coffee or tea or whatever's in your cup. It's a no judgment zone, and that's how we get through the day and give each other a little bit of support. But what are some other things people can do to prepare for this weekend? And even if it's just their mindset, getting prepared for it.
Outside of unplugging, I always find it rewarding to just celebrate someone. Just find someone that you can celebrate, because when you're in you get more out of just joy, right? Being, and then, even though it's tough, you get more just out of celebrating folks, so that when it comes your time, people will celebrate you, right? But outside of unplugging from social media, I would say read a book, watch a good flick. I will say this because my girl is on this line. I absolutely love the why did it escape me? Kelly reminds me. I just watched it because I love her as her character. Kelly, is it killing it? Is it killing it? I can't. I just know it's too many snakes in that show, and I'm afraid of snakes. So she has, but I watched this all the way through, and it is absolutely hilarious. So find something that you can laugh at. Laughing is good for the soul. It is so good for the spirit. Yes, killing it. Yes, it is really, really good. So try to watch that. Try to watch anything that's this comical that in Medea, oh my gosh, anything Medea, and then people may just laugh because I'm saying a Tyler Perry anything, but Tyler Perry does have some things that will knock me like, I just it'll just keep me smiling. So and
There's the
going
purposes for that.
yeah, but going back to advocacy, I will say I met a doctor as a reporter. I met this doctor, and he and I got to talking, and he was like, "Hey, what's going on? Do you have any children?" I said, "No," and I told him the diagnosis, and he also sparked me to be an advocate because he says, "You don't have unexplained, you have unexplored."
That part.
So how many people are people who may be walking around with unexplained? Explore a little bit more. Advocate for
Yep.
yourself. Go to another doctor. Get
Yes.
two, three, four opinions if you have to. But
Yes.
unexplored infertility, I think, is something that we should break away from because it turned out, there were some things. So yeah, definitely go out and make sure your voice is heard. Raise that voice.
I love that you said that because again, the perception of advocacy is it's talking to other people. It's sharing
Mm-hmm.
among the public.
Yes.
But advocacy includes when you're sitting in the doctor's office and
Mm-hmm.
you feel like you haven't been heard or that you haven't been explained things to properly, or that things haven't been explored and you've done your own research and you've been dismissed. Advocacy is also self advocacy when you're in the doctor's office, when you're looking for treatment options, when you need to talk to your insurance company because some things aren't covered or because you need to contest something. That is also advocating for yourself. That is also making your voice heard. And the one thing that I try to remember, especially when I'm really feeling like Regina don't got it today,
Yeah.
is me doing this today helps somebody tomorrow that this person is going to come in contact with. So me getting this relative together who said something slick
Yes.
is going to help the next cousin who comes across her to not talk to her like that. And
Mm-hmm.
that's not everybody's mission, but for me, that's always something that I keep in the back of my mind is me advocating today makes it so somebody else doesn't have to tomorrow, or that it's easier for them tomorrow, or it creates a new advocate because now that doctor knows to say that to somebody else. That person knows to say that to somebody else. So advocacy is actually, I was so excited about this live because it's freeing.
Mm.
Infertility takes your voice away in so many ways. It takes your voice away. It makes you question yourself. But when you get to just be honest and real
Yes.
and say, no, this ain't that,
Out,
it's life changing.
it is. It is. Advocacy is standing firm, right? Feet planted to the ground, standing firm in your truth. And so when you speak up for yourself, you're standing firm. You're standing up for
Yeah,
yourself. And so, yeah, I think it's important to also always remind folks we need these lives periodically to remind
yeah,
folks about standing firm and just advocating for not only themselves but for others.
yeah. We need your voice. We need your voice. We need it. Send your energy. Send your check. Send your voice. Send your shares, send your likes. All of that counts. All of that counts. There are a bajillion ways to advocate and to share with us. So I hate to get off this live because I'm having so much fun.
I know, I know. I was excited about this. I was like, oh, I feel so honored.
Of course. As Camille said, a few scrolls up, squad goals. It's
Yes.
I don't understand. It's really been a blessing to have a community of other advocates to work alongside. When I came into infertility advocacy, there was Camille and there was Reverend Stacy, and they have been such a good support for me. And that's why there's never been any competition between Fertility for Colored Girls, Cade Foundation, and Broken Brown Egg. It's all love and
Love.
support. And behind the scenes, I know Camille will call me. Like last month, I was quiet, or March, I was quiet. She called me like, what you doing? So I don't know that everybody recognizes it, but having support behind the support has kept so many people's voices going when we want to stop. And I know, like Nichelle said, you see us and we're smiling and we're doing and we're happy and we're handling. We're in this too. We're in this fight with you. We're in this fight with you. So if you ever are feeling like I'm not strong enough to do that, yes, you are.
Mm-hmm. Can't
Yes,
stop,
yes.
won't stop.
Listen, at all. So, Nichelle, people can't register for Advocacy Day anymore, but we've given them some great tips about how to still support Resolve. So could you give them some information about how to get in touch with Resolve?
Yes, the best way, if you can contact myself, or you can go online. Many of us are handy and busy on the internet these days, but go to resolve.org and you can do your thing there and contact. You'll run into a few familiar names, either Tracy, Rebecca, Betsy. You'll come across some names of people who will definitely reach out and reach back and help you. Yeah.
Listen, I got an email in my box right now from Tracy. I got to go look at about Advocacy Day.
Yeah.
And I will say also, even if you can't, I know you can't register anymore, but when you see us posting about Advocacy Day, share it. Share the post, tag some people, privately send it to whoever you want to, because it helps us to continue to get the word out and also to encourage people to participate in next year's Advocacy Day. It's virtual, and is it hybrid this year? Is it all virtual?
It's virtual, but I will say this: I love that it is, and the reason why is because more people can participate. I hope that never goes away. That for those who can make it to DC, sure, DC, I'm sure they will welcome us. But for those who can just log on their computer, Zoom,
or wherever,
yes. So
it's a big deal. It's made it accessible for way more people to do Advocacy Day, because getting to DC is not ideal for everyone, but getting on Zoom has become normal for everyone in the past few years. So it's really great. And I will say, Resolve gives you the whole script. They tell you exactly what to say. They give you all of the information, so you don't feel like, I don't know what to say. I don't have the statistics. I don't know. They give you the whole thing. Even when it's like right to your congressman, they give you the whole thing.
Yes. And you're never alone. You never have to go through Advocacy Day. Resolve is really big on that. Never going through Advocacy Day alone. You're going to always have someone in the room with you supporting, even if it's a state captain. This year, I'm a state captain, but I can tell you, you can get through it. And if you cannot find yourself remembering everything that's on the paper, wing it. It's always nice to just tell your story.
Yes. And I see Camille say such an empowering experience. It really is. Yeah. You walk away feeling like I made a difference today. Even if it was just with my team, or even if it was educating this legislator or educating their staff person, because sometimes you're talking to their staff person.
That is true. Let's be honest.
Yes, but that makes a difference, and you walk away feeling powerful after this thing has taken so much of your power, or tried to take so much of your power, because it don't. You're still powerful. So Nichelle, what's in your cup? You said pomegranate juice. Can we see that gorgeous glass of pomegranate juice?
Yes, yeah.
I'm thirsty.
Oh, it's so good.
I've got nothing in my glass. I'm sorry. I've had some orange juice, but I had to drink that thing. Okay. So I don't have a glass. As I said, I'm in my car today.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting in the library's parking lot. So I don't have anything in my cup today, but I will have some on my next Coffee with Cade. I got a brand new teacup just
Awesome.
for it. So it's going to be
Hmm.
gorgeous. Nichelle,
Yes.
this has been so much fun. I was
Thank
looking
you.
so forward to this.
I am, yes, I was too. And one thing too, I know Advocacy Day is May 18th, right? But Advocacy Day honestly is every day.
Every day.
Every single day. Write your
It's
legislator today, tomorrow, after Resolve Advocacy Day, and let your voice be heard.
yeah.
Don't
Yes. I love
don't
it.
think don't think you missed it.
Yes.
You did not.
It's every day. It's every day. It's talking to
Mhm.
your sister, your cousin,
Yes.
your auntie with the rude comments. It's telling Uncle so and so to mind his business. It's all of that. It's all of that. All of that counts.
Okay. Well,
All right.
love you.
Love you too. Have a great rest of your day.
You
You look
too.
gorgeous, so I'm sure it's gonna go swimmingly.
I'm claiming it. Claiming it.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Bye. Thanks for being
Bye.
with us.
Same. Bye.